Alrighty, it is time for Seal of Orichalcos action, and in this one it is Pegasus going up against Weevil as Karakui Muso MD whatever. Karakui's another archetype. It's a later one, but it's another interesting one as well. So who won that? Weevil. Weevil is going first. Now Pegasus's deck is a little bit updated from how it used to be. It's now like a 100% Toon deck with, I think, Dark Rabbit and I think maybe Toon Alligator are still in there. But a lot of Toon cards to see if the Toon archetype could actually be any good. The short answer is no. The Toon deck just does not compare to even like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX decks. The Toon deck would get pretty much just smashed to bits, but it's still a fun deck to watch. Alright, Toon Defense is flipped up. And just scrolling for comments. We are up to... yeah, that looks right. Ooh, Red Eyes, Black Toon Dragon. Ooh, Soul Exchange is in hand as well. So in theory, Pegasus should be able to summon that, because I don't think Red Eyes Toon Dragon actually needs Toon World on the field. Some of the later Toon cards don't actually need Toon World, which is a big help, because Pegasus's early Toon monsters, without Toon World, they were useless. So Glenn Devo says, that first match had me on the edge of my seat. Didn't expect this from Duke vs. Taya. It's amazing how sometimes the lesser characters can have some of the best duels in the real world. Another really good one was it was Taya going up against someone in Duelist Kingdom. Was it maybe Jaden's one? I remember Taya having a really good Duelist Kingdom duel against someone doing a run as well. SCH292 says Duelist Kingdom is what allows us to have Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! LOL. Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the would have been around what, 2001, 2002 over here, where like Yu-Gi-Oh! Was really starting to pick up. Actually, I remember the end of school, the whole rage was on Beyblades. It went from Pokemon, then it went to Yu-Gi-Oh! Then it went to Beyblades, and then it sort of, Yu-Gi-Oh! Started up as I was finishing primary school. In high school, the whole rage was Yu-Gi-Oh! Sir Aaron Game Guy says, I wish Chum was like this in the anime. Less about raw power and more a tricky technical duelist based on experience. What's Chum-Li one of the most underused characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, right now Pegasus has got his is that card called Toon Fortress, I think? So basically, if Pegasus gets attacked now, Toon Fortress can send a card from the top of his deck and remove it from play face down. It costs 3 cards to be removed from play to activate it, but it's a very good card because it makes Pegasus's Toon monster, it's very difficult to attack. Alright, Parasite was activated, so that has gone to Pegasus's deck. Crimson Maelstrom says, here goes Chum doing what his deck has always been capable of. That was for the Chum and Weevil match. The Chum vs Weevil match was surprisingly good. Like, it was really, really solid, despite the third match having the software error and then Chum-Li absolutely wiping him to the moon and back. But overall, that match was actually really good. It's by far the best match that Chum's had. And Weevil is being absolutely hammered here because Red Eyes Toon Dragon, that Toon Fortress, that field spell, that acts as Toon World while it's on the field as well. So because Weevil doesn't have any Toon monsters, Red Eyes Toon Dragon is just attacking directly every turn. And some of Weevil's effect actually require his monsters to get destroyed by battle, so this may actually be a very tough match for Weevil. There's Armored B, however, that effect won't be able to activate. Is it Toon Kingdom or Toon Fortress? I think it might actually be Toon Kingdom, that card's called. That also blocks card effects. So, well, enemy card effects. So Armored Bee can't use its effect to halve the attack of Red Eye's Toon Dragon. Otherwise, Red Eye's Toon Dragon would have been destroyed. So that Toon Kingdom, that's a very good card. I think it's Toon Kingdom, actually. There's Toon Goblin Attack Force. Now to the field. Kodos Kopos says, how are you going to give Taya the card Goddess with the third eye but no fusions to exploit her effects? Goddess of third eye is probably a leftover card that we didn't remove. Because Taya's deck wasn't intended to have any fusions. Goddess with the third eye was probably just left in there. Could probably take it out and replace it with something else. Maybe, I don't really know any fairy cards with effects. Maybe Hoshiningen. Ultimate Insect level 5 is now summoned. 2300. But it's looking like... Now, Weevil's gone for an attack. Toon Defense can make it a direct attack instead. Could have used Toon Kingdom to send a card from the top of the deck to the graveyard. Either way, it doesn't matter. Pegasus's defense for his Toons right now is actually quite strong. Maybe it's not such a bad deck. It's not going to match the power of GX series. But even so, oh, there's Toon Summon Skull. That's one of the OGs. He has the old effect. So he needs 500 life points to attack. Alright, there's Comic Hand. That can steal one of Weevil's insects. It's not been a good match for Weevil. Glendevo says, when Weevil used multiplication of ants, the pinch hopper was tributed and not destroyed, so neither its or Verdant's effect would activate. And then Octavia Hirschberg says, the text says when this card you control is sent to the graveyard. If I'm not mistaken, it missed the timing because the ant tokens were summoned before pinch hopper resolved. Yeah, I think that's what pinch hopper says. It's when this card you control is sent to the graveyard. But it's but yeah, it's a bit of a in fact, I think when pinch hopper, if that even gets tributed, I don't think its effect activates. It still says like missed activation timing. I think the missed activation timing might just be a poor way of describing what's happening. I think that's what it is. I think it's just bad translation, not quite saying exactly what is happening word for word. As Pegasus has drawn Toon Kingdom again, and now it's got a Toon Table of Contents, so that'll allow him to pull any Toon card from his deck to his hand, so he can take his pick here. But yeah, I'll admit, like, I see that happen on the screen, and that missed effect activation thing, that's not always clear exactly what's going on, but it is what it is. But the digital game is a lot better with the rulebook than what I'm going to be bothered to read with card effects. Toon Mermaid is summoned, so Toon Dark Magician Girl was pulled, so now they're all special summons, so you can do multiple of them per turn. 2000 attack, and that will also be able to attack directly. Can't attack the turn it's summoned, but Weevil might get a repeat of the last match here. Moonwolfie says, I went to Target today and got a Battle City themed speed duel box. It had cards from the major players, Yugi, Kaiba, Mai, Joey, Ishizu, Odeon, Marek, Bakura, and some Amazon cards for Mai along with her Harpies. Gravekeepers along with her signature fairy cards for Ishizu. Kaiba with his Blue Eyes, Yugi with his Dark Magician, Joey and his random Warriors plus Jinzo and Red Eyes. All 3 God cards, even had Orgoth and skill cards for Duke, Taya and Tristan. Bakura with Destiny Board. Damn, that's a good box. That's a very good box. This should be an interesting duel. This is for Taya and Duke, since Duke runs a lot in chance. Wonder if Uranzo will be MVP and if we will get the chaos for Dice Jar and Orgoth. Well, we had a lot of chaos with Dice Jar when Duke Devlin did his Battle City, his Duelist Kingdom run. Taya can be a decent duelist if she can power up her fairies with the equips. 6100, Duke names a Dark Witch. It was ridiculous, it was. Duke getting the roll wrong in Dice Jar and Taya grinding that first match out for so long as she could before her 400 remaining life points. He did get the roll in that third duel but still lost the match because Taya got her power-ups going. Duke Devlin never fails to entertain. He may not win every match, but he never fails to entertain, and Dice Jar is just absolute chaos. SCH292 says, does this game have Metamorphosed Insect Queen? I think it does. If it does, maybe it might be a good switch for the Boomer Insect Queen. Yeah, Insect Queen, the original Insect Queen, that is a terrible card. Like, it is turd. Like, it's basically a 2400 defense, which is okay, but if you want to attack with that thing, like, you're always vulnerable. Oh, there it is, Toon Kingdom. I saw it at that time. So, thankfully Pegasus should be able to see what cards are being removed face down from play. So we can see what card could have been. But it means that Dark Magician Girl is going to be brutally hard to attack and get off the field. Ah, Toon Mask. And Zukowski says, my aunt had a Toyota Camry as a winter car for her Florida home. She bought it for a few thousand, put new wheels, brakes and fluids in it and left Florida year-round. It lasted over 300,000 more miles and only was wrecked in a hurricane that flooded her parking garage and was underwater for several days. God knows how much longer it could have lasted if it wasn't for that hurricane. It'd probably still be going today. Those old Toyota Camrys, like, they just don't break. Like, unless you really do something extreme to it, those old Camrys, they will just continue to go forever. And Sukowski said, I think it was a 1991 too. Yeah, especially that time period. That's what my one's time period is from. And yeah, unless you submerge it in water or, like, put dynamite in the engine, like, they just don't die, those cars. They're just so built to last. You don't get that anymore with cars. Cars these days will last you 5-10 years before they just fall apart. Those old Camrys, man, they'll outlive any car that's made today, if they're looked after. Alright, Toon Mermaid has come back to the field with Monster Reborn from Weevil and Eradicating Aerosol. So that gets... oh, that's interesting, because that puts Flying Kamakiri number 2 back into Weevil's graveyard, and now Pegasus can't attack directly because the opponent has a Toon on the field. That's actually very clever from Weevil to get him through to the next turn. That's very clever from Weevil. So Insect Neglect. There goes Bladefly. And there goes Flying Kamakiri number 2. Weevil has actually ended up with a monster on his field. Don't know how much longer Weevil can keep this up for, mind you, but Alejandro Fernandez says, I'm not 100% certain, but I think both GX and 5Ds had a timing issue. By that I mean that the next generation was around the corner and they still hadn't wrapped up their own gen, so it was rushed to meet a deadline. Oh, that's for the animes. Yeah, that's what I heard with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, is that they wanted to start the next series and they just didn't want to spend more of the time and resources, I guess, to finishing the dub for GX. But it's still just a shame as well, because it's actually difficult to find Season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX to watch in general. When it re-released on DVD, it only did the first 3 seasons, it didn't do Season 4. And even on streaming services, it's like they want to pretend that Season 4 of it doesn't exist. Season 4 was probably the best season of it. Alright, Toon Mermaid is gone. Weevil is down to 200 life points. He's got Multiplication of Ants, but Weevil can be attacked directly again now. Music Hairstone says it's Cascade. This is my other account. Oh, so that'd be Cascade Hairstone's other account. There's I too have multiple. How many YouTube accounts do I have? More than what I can count. Of them that have been created and then abandoned and then revived and then abandoned again over the years. There's Parasite. Oh damn! Weevil's already used his eradicating aerosol. He had to use it to stay in the game, unfortunately, but damn, we could have seen eradicating aerosol destroy Pegasus's whole field. That would have been something to see. That would have been really, really fun to see. Oh, really fun to see, but Weevil cannot defend against that attack, and this one is over. Pegasus has defeated Weevil 2-0, which is surprising. Maybe Pegasus would do alright in a Battle City run. Maybe we can do him after Chum. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Speaking of Chum, we've got Chum taking on Yugioh after this one as well. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for leaving comments wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, take care, farewell.